My chosen one, listen carefully. This is not a normal message. This is not just another video that appeared on your screen by accident. This is the final call, and heaven does not repeat final calls. God has sent Archangel Michael to deliver this warning directly to you, not to your neighbor, not to the person beside you, to you. Because the window that has been open over your life is about to shut. And once it shuts, it will not open again in the same way. You have been standing at the edge of something massive. Something heaven prepared long before you were born. A divine assignment. A prepared house of blessing. A Ghanaian. A Shiv. A restoration. Doors aligned in the unseen realm. Battles fought over your name. But here is the shocking truth. You have been hesitating. And hesitation at a divine door can cost destiny. Archangel Michael stands as a warrior, not just against darkness, but as a guardian of timing. And timing is what this message is about. Heaven works in windows. There are moments when grace flows easily. Moments when doors respond quickly. Moments when one step of obedience unlocks 10 years of waiting. You are in such a moment right now. But the clock is not stopping. Something has delayed you before. Fear, doubt, distraction, maybe comfort, maybe a voice around you that told you to wait a little longer. But what if that little longer is exactly what causes the window to close? Heaven prepared something specific for you, not a random blessing, not something average, something designed with your name written over it. A space where your gifts would flourish, a territory where your influence would expand, a season where what once drained you would now strengthen you. Yet here you stand half ready. Let me reveal something that may shake you. Opportunities from God are invitations, not permanent fixtures. When ignored repeatedly, they move. Yes, you heard that correctly. When divine invitations are ignored, they shift to those who will respond. This is not to scare you. This is to awaken you. Archangel Michael hath been assigned around your life because what is ahead requires courage. The preparation heaven made for you is not small. It will require bold decisions. It will require cutting off certain cycles. It will require stepping away from something familiar. And that is why you feel resistance. Resistance is not always a sign to stop. Sometimes it is proof that you are close. Look back over the last few weeks. Has there been a recurring thought? A nudge to change something? A discomfort that will not go away? A sense that where you are is no longer fitting who you are becoming? That is not random. That is alignment pressure. The window is open right now. But windows are not doors. Windows are moments. They are narrow. They are precise. They require alertness. And heaven is watching your response. Do not mistake comfort for confirmation. Just because something feels safe does not mean it is ordained for your future. Some safe spaces are simply holding places until you gather the courage to move. And here is what makes this a final call. Cycles do not repeat forever. There was a time when you prayed desperately for change. You cried for breakthrough. You asked God for a sign. You promised that if He opened the door, you would walk through it without fear. The door is open. But now fear is whispering louder than faith. Archangel Michael is not sent when things are casual. He is sent when battles surround destiny. He is sent when a person is standing at a crossroad that will determine years ahead. And you are at that crossroad. Something must end so something greater can begin. But endings require action. They require trust. They require a willingness to look foolish in the eyes of people who do not understand your calling. If you ignore this call, The window will close gently, not with noise, not with drama. It will simply move on. And one day you will look back and realize, that was my moment. Heaven does not force. He invites. This message is that invitation. There is something prepared for you that cannot be accessed through delay. It responds to obedience. It responds to movement. It responds to faith that acts, not faith that waits for perfect conditions. You were not chosen to live in almost. You were not created to watch others enter rooms that were meant for you. You were not assigned Archangel Michael's protection just to remain comfortable. You are being called higher. Right now, in this very hour, decisions are shaping your future. The spiritual realm is attentive. The window is still open, but it will not remain open forever. Ask yourself honestly, what have I been postponing that I know I must do? That answer holds the key, because once this window closes, heaven will move into the next chapter, with or without your response. And you do not want to be standing outside what was built for you. This is your wake-up moment. This is your divine urgency. This is the final call before the shift. The question is not whether heaven is ready. The question is, are you? Beloved soul, something is shifting around you even as you listen to this. The atmosphere around your life is not the same as it was yesterday. You may not see it with your eyes, but in the unseen realm, movements have begun. Archangel Michael does not stand idle. When he is assigned, it means preparation has already reached its final stage. And this is where your cooperation becomes critical. You have been waiting for clarity, but heaven had been waiting for your courage. There is a difference. Clarity comes after movement. Courage comes before it. Many people remain stuck because they want every detail revealed before they take the first step. But the kingdom of heaven does not function that way. It responds to faith in motion. There is something you have been tolerating that you were never meant to settle for. A pattern, a relationship dynamic, a mindset, a location, a habit of shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. And every time you ignore the inner conviction, the window trembles slightly. Not because God is angry, but because timing is sacred. Archangel Michael is not only a warrior against darkness, he is a defender of divine order. And divine order requires alignment. Right now, alignment is more important than comfort. You cannot carry old baggage into a new season. You cannot enter what heaven prepared while holding on to what heaven asked you to release. This is why the pressure feels intense. Pressure is not punishment. It is preparation. There are moments in life when everything feels neutral, calm, predictable. And then there are moments like this, when you feel an internal stirring that refuses to let you rest. That stirring is not anxiety. It is awakening. It is the realization that staying where you are will cost you more than stepping into the unknown. The window over your life was not opened casually. It was open because your prayers accumulated before God. Your tears were seen. Your silent battles were recorded. Your faith during lonely nights was honored. And heaven responded by arranging something ahead of you. But response requires response. If you ignore this, it will not collapse your life overnight. That is not how it works. Instead, you will drift into a version of life that is good but not destined, stable but not powerful, comfortable but not impactful. And deep inside, you will always sense that you missed something greater. Archangel Michael's presence around your calling means what lies ahead is significant. It may involve influence. It may involve leadership. It may involve breaking a generational cycle. It may involve becoming the first in your family to step into a new level. That kind of shift attracts resistance. That kind of shift requires boldness. And boldness is a choice. You cannot blame delay on circumstances anymore. You cannot say, when everything is perfect, I will move. Perfect conditions rarely arrive before obedience. A window is open in imperfect circumstances to test your trust. Right now, pause and examine your heart. Are you delaying because you truly lack direction? Or are you delaying because stepping forward will require you to outgrow something familiar? Growth feels like loss at first. You may lose certain approvals. You may lose certain comforts. You may lose certain illusion. But what you gain will outweigh what you release. Heaven never calls you upward without providing strength for the climb. Archangel Michael stands as assurance that you are not alone in this. When you choose alignment, protection increases. When you step forward, reinforcement follows. But reinforcement does not chase hesitation forever. This message found you for a reason. Out of millions of voices, you heard this one. That is not coincidence. That is orchestration. And if this is speaking directly to your spirit, then acknowledge it. Do not scroll past it like any other content. Engage with it. Declare your readiness. If this message is awakening something inside you, like this video, share it with someone who may also be standing at a divine window, and comment your agreement below. Subscribe to this channel and become part of this growing movement, because messages like this are not entertainment, they are assignments. When you support and hype what feeds your spirit, you create space for more of it to reach others. There is more unfolding in this revelation, and what is about to be uncovered will connect pieces you did not even realize were related. Hold on, because what comes next will make you see your current situation with completely new eyes. Faithful one, there is something you must understand now before this window narrows any further. The delay you have experienced was not entirely external. Yes, there were obstacles. Yes, there were voices that discouraged you. Yes, there were circumstances that seemed unfavorable. But beneath all of that, there was a subtle hesitation within your own heart. And heaven had been waiting for that hesitation to break. Archangel Michael has been positioned around your life not merely to fight visible battles, but to guard the threshold of your transition. Thresholds are sacred. They are the thin spaces between who you were and who you are becoming. And when you stand at a threshold too long without crossing it, stagnation begins to replace anticipation. This is why recently you have felt restless. Things that once satisfied you now feel incomplete. Conversations that once excited you now feel shallow. Places that once felt secure now feel temporary. That is not confusion. That is spiritual evolution pressing against your comfort. The preparation heaven made for you is not symbolic. It is tangible. It involves real change, real decisions, real movement. And that is why the final call has been issued. God's preparation without participation is wasted potential. There is a divine rhythm to destiny. When God opens a window, there is a grace attached to that specific season. In that grace, things move faster. Doors respond easier. Favor flows naturally. But grace attached to timing does not remain forever. It is like a current in a river. If you step in when the current is strong, it carries you forward. If you hesitate until the current weakens, you must struggle harder to move. Right now, the current is strong, but something has tried to convince you that you are not ready, that you need more confirmation, that you need more validation, that you need more resources. Yet heaven is not waiting for your perfection. Heaven is waiting for your surrender. Archangel Michael's presence signifies that what stands ahead is guarded territory. Not everyone is meant to enter it. Not everyone is prepared for its responsibility. And that is why your obedience matters. It proves you are aligned with what was prepared specifically for you. If you ignore this final call, the window will not slam shut dramatically. It will close quietly. Another season will begin. Life will continue. But deep within you, a knowing will remain. A whisper that says there was more. And you were not created for almost. There are people connected to your destiny who are waiting for you to move. They do not even realize they are waiting, but your obedience will unlock their breakthrough. Your step forward will shift atmospheres in rooms you have not yet entered. Your alignment will disrupt cycles that have been repeating in your bloodline for generations. This is bigger than comfort. This is bigger than preference. This is assignment. The reason the message feels intense is because time-sensitive grace is involved. Windows do not remain open indefinitely. Divine invitations require response. You cannot carry doubt into a doorway meant for confidence. You cannot cling to yesterday and step fully into tomorrow at the same time. Release is required. Release of fear. Release of dependency on familiar structures. Release of the need to be understood by everyone. Archangel Michael stands as confirmation that heaven takes this moment seriously. And so should you. Right now, in your heart, make a decision. Not a grammatic announcement. Not a public declaration. A private alignment. Say within yourself, I will not miss what heaven prepared for me. Feel the shift as you choose agreement. The moment you align internally, reinforcement begins externally. Courage rises. Clarity sharpens. Peace replaces panic. That is how you will know you have stepped into rhythm with heaven's timing. This is not about pressure. It is about purpose. You were chosen for a reason. Protected for a reason. Sustained through battles for a reason. The window opened because your season arrived. Do not let hesitation write your story. Stand up spiritually. Straighten your posture in faith. And prepare to move. Type I step through the window in the comments if this message confirms what your spirit has already been sensing. Blessing code 3147 is now activated over your life. And as you respond, understand this. When you sow into a word that awakens you, you water the ground of your own destiny. The Lord says, as you give, it shall be given back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is not about supporting a channel. This is about fueling a river of truth that reaches souls standing at their own divine windows. If this message stirred your heart, and you feel the call to act, let your action be prophetic. Through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, release your seed into this mission of light. I hear you saying, I want to help this message reach those who are about to miss their moment. Then obey that prompting now. Every seed becomes oil in the lamp of someone else's awakening. As you give, may open heavens respond over your household. Step into obedience and give as an act of destiny. Warrior of faith, now that you have felt the weight of this call, it is time to uncover what truly stands behind this window. Because what heaven prepared for you is not random success, not temporary excitement, and not surface-level change. It is transformation that will reposition your entire life. The reason this moment feels so critical is because it is connected to identity. Not just opportunity. Identity. For years, you have been functioning beneath your true capacity. You adapted to survive. You adjusted to keep peace. You minimized yourself to avoid conflict. And over time, that smaller version of you became normal. but heaven never recognized that reduced version as your final form. Archangel Michael has been assigned around this transition because stepping into your true identity disrupts forces that benefited from your limitation. When you rise into who you are meant to be, certain patterns collapse. Certain systems lose their grip. Certain expectations placed upon you by others begin to shatter. That is why resistance intensifies right before breakthrough. You may have noticed increased distractions recently. Unusual fatigue. Random doubts resurfacing. Old memories trying to replay. This is not coincidence. When a window opens that leads to expansion, anything tied to your past will attempt to pull you backward. But backward is no longer an option. Heaven prepared a space where your voice carries authority. A space where your decisions influence outcomes. A space where your gifts are not hidden but highlighted. Yet stepping into that space requires shedding the identity that was shaped by fear. Fear taught you to overthink. Fear taught you to delay. Fear taught you to question your worth. But the version of you that crosses this threshold must operate from trust, not terror. Archangel Michael's presence signals that courage is available. Not manufactured courage, but divine reinforcement. Courage that does not deny fear, but walks forward despite it. This is the difference between those who enter prepared seasons and those who watch them pass. The window is connected to alignment in 3 areas of your life. First, your internal dialogue. The way you speak to yourself must change. You cannot call yourself unready while heaven calls you appointed. You cannot label yourself incapable while heaven has equipped you. Second, your environment. Some surroundings cannot go where you are going. And this does not always mean people must disappear completely. Sometimes it means boundaries must strengthen. Access must shift. Conversations must evolve. Third, your obedience. Partial obedience keeps you near the window. Full obedience moves you through it. Right now, you stand in the middle of decision. You feel both the comfort of what is known and the pull of what is prepared. Attention is sacred. It means you are close. But understand this clearly. Destiny rarely feels convenient. The preparation heaven made for you includes responsibility, influence, stewardship, growth. And growth stretches you beyond what feels easy. That is why many hesitate. They do not fear failure as much as they fear expansion. Expansion demands more from you. It demands discipline where there was once procrastination. It demands clarity where there was once confusion. It demands maturity where there was once avoidance. And yet, within that demand lies reward. Imagine yourself 1 year from now having stepped through this window. The relief, the confidence, the gratitude that you did not allow fear to silence obedience. That future version of you is calling backward right now, urging you to move. Archangel Michael does not guard stagnant places. He guards movement aligned with heaven's will. If he is present in this narrative of your life, it is because forward motion is required. There is also something else you must grasp. This window is not only about receiving, it is about becoming. Becoming stronger. Becoming clearer. Becoming a carrier of light in spaces that need it. You were not preserved through past battles just to maintain survival. You were preserved to step into impact. And impact begins with one courageous decision. Do not wait for everyone to understand. They may not. Do not wait for applause. It may not come immediately. Do not wait for total certainty. Faith operates before certainty. Instead, move with conviction that if heaven prepared it, heaven will sustain it. Right now, something within you is stabilizing. The fear is losing its volume. The doubt is weakening. The vision is sharpening. That is alignment taking root. You are closer than you think. The window is still open. The invitation still stands. The protection still surrounds you. But movement must follow revelation. Take inventory of what must change. Identify what must be released. And prepare your heart for decisive action. Because what comes next will reveal the final layer that has been hidden from your understanding. And once you see it, you will never view this moment the same way again. Child of destiny, there is a hidden layer to this moment that you have not fully seen yet. The window before you is not just about stepping into something new. It is also about closing something old with intention. Because every divine entrance requires a deliberate exit. You have outgrown a season that once protected you. What once served you is no longer structured for who you are becoming. And this is where many people falter. They attempt to enter the new while secretly keeping a backup plan in the old. But heaven does not bless divided loyalty. Archangel Michael stands at the edge of your transition because divided hearts create spiritual vulnerability. When you hesitate between two seasons, you remain exposed to confusion. But when you choose with clarity, protection intensifies. There is something you have been revisiting in your mind repeatedly. A situation that feels unfinished. A comfort zone that still whispers your name. A routine that feels safe but small. That repetition is not nostalgia. It is the final test of attachment. Heaven is asking you a simple question. Are you willing to let go without knowing every detail of what comes next? Because obedience without full visibility is the mark of trust. The window prepared for you includes provision. But provision flows in motion, not in stagnation. It meets you as you step. It confirms you as you act. It strengthens you as you move. Waiting for provision before obedience keeps you stuck outside the door. This is why the call feels urgent. Not rushed but precise. Timing has aligned in ways you cannot see. Conversations are forming in rooms you have not entered yet. Opportunities are aligning around your name. But they respond to your willingness. Archangel Michael's assignment in your life signals that unseen resistance has already been confronted on your behalf. Battles you did not even know existed have been handled quietly. Delays that could have been permanent were only temporary. You were preserved for this opening. Do not underestimate what it cost in the unseen realm to bring you to this exact point. And do not treat it casually. There is also an emotional release required. You cannot carry bitterness into a blessed season. You cannot bring resentment into a room meant for growth. The weight of old disappointments will slow your stride if you refuse to set them down. Forgiveness is not approval of what hurt you. It is freedom from its grip. The new territory prepared for you demands lightness. It demands focus. It demands presence. It is why the past must be sealed properly, not ignored, not suppressed, sealed with understanding. Look at what you survived. Look at what did not break you. Look at the strength that quietly formed while you thought nothing was changing. That strength is your evidence that you are ready. But readiness must transition into action. There will never be a moment where fear completely disappears. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement despite it. And as you move, fear diminishes. The reason this message is direct is because destiny is sensitive to delay. Prolonged hesitation reshapes outcomes. Not because God withdraws love, but because seasons shift. What was designed for now may not carry the same grace later. Right now, the grace is fresh. Right now, the window is aligned. Right now, the protection is active. Archangel Michael's presence is not symbolic decoration in your story. is strategic positioning. It means what you are about to step into has significance beyond your personal comfort. It may influence others. It may inspire others. It may unlock courage in others who watch your example. Your obedience is contagious. When you move, someone else will find strength to move. When you release, someone else will find permission to release. When you step through the window, someone else will realize that their window is open too. This is not a small decision. Take a deep internal breath and imagine yourself choosing boldly. Feel the shift in your posture. Notice the clarity that follows commitment. That clarity is already waiting for your yes. There is one final aspect you must understand before the next revelation unfolds. The window is connected to alignment with divine timing, but it is also connected to stewardship. What you enter must be maintained. What you receive must be honored. What you are given must be managed wisely. Heaven does not waste preparation on those unwilling to grow into responsibility. And you are capable of that responsibility. The doubt that once felt overwhelming is now quieter. The vision that once felt distant is now closer. The call that once felt abstract is now personal. This is your moment to decide who you will be when opportunity meets obedience. The final layer of this message will reveal why this window could never stay open forever. And when you understand the truth, you will recognize just how precious this hour truly is. Anointed one, what you are experiencing right now is the narrowing of time around your assignment. Not because disaster is coming, but because destiny does not wait forever. There are divine moments that stretch, and there are divine moments that compress. You are in a compressed moment. When time compresses, clarity intensifies. Small decisions suddenly carry large consequences. Minor compromises suddenly feel heavy. You begin to sense that your next move matters more than usual. That sensation is not anxiety. It is awareness. Archangel Michael stands near when awareness sharpens, because awareness precedes warfare and breakthrough. You are not being threatened. You are being alerted. Alerted that the window you have been contemplating is no longer in a passive state. It is active, responsive, sensitive to your agreement or your delay. There is something powerful about recognizing that heaven prepared this before you even knew you needed it. Long before your recent questions, long before your current frustrations, provision was arranged. Lessons were orchestrated. Strength was cultivated inside you through trials you once wait away. Now those trials make sense. You were not being punished in past seasons. You were being trained. The patience you learned was not random. The resilience you developed was not accidental. The endurance you built was not meaningless. It was preparation for a window that would require stability when opportunity arrived. And opportunity has arrived. But opportunity is quiet. It does not beg. It does not shout. It presents itself and watches your response. That is why ignoring it feels subtle at first. Nothing dramatic happens immediately. Life continues. But something inside you dims slightly each time you choose delay over obedience. That dimming is what heaven wants to prevent. Archangel Michael's role in your life at this hour is to ensure that intimidation does not steal what preparation secure. There are thoughts that attempt to magnify risk and minimize reward. There are voices that attempt to highlight uncertainty and high potential. Yet divine timing does not align based on your comfort. It aligns based on readiness. And readiness has already been declared over you. You may not feel extraordinary, but readiness does not always feel dramatic. Sometimes it feels like quiet confidence mixed with trembling. Sometimes it feels like peace layered beneath nervous anticipation. That combination is sacred. It means growth is occurring. The window cannot remain open indefinitely because your life is moving forward regardless. If you do not step intentionally, you will drift unintentionally, and drifting rarely leads to destiny. Consider how many times you sensed you were meant for more. How many times you felt an inner conviction that your current state was temporary. That conviction was not ego. It was calling. It was heaven whispering that there is a prepared space awaiting your arrival. Archangel Michael has not been positioned around your life for ordinary outcomes. His presence signals significance. It signals that what lies ahead is worth guarding. It signals that unseen interference has already been handled so you can move forward with clarity. But movement is required from you. You cannot keep analyzing the door while refusing to turn the handle. At some point, reflection must become action. Planning must become participation. Prayer must become obedience. If this message has been stirring something inside you, do not keep it to yourself. Engage with it. Like this video as a declaration that you are choosing awareness over avoidance. Share it with someone who may also be standing at their own threshold. Comment your agreement and declare your readiness boldly. Subscribe and become part of this growing community because messages like this are not random content. They are confirmations. And when you support what strengthens your spirit, you reinforce the flow of truth into your life. There is more unfolding, and what is about to be revealed will explain why hesitation now would echo far longer than you realize. Trust me, you will want to hear what comes next because it connects every delay, every nudge, and every opportunity into one clear picture. For now, understand this deeply. The window is not closing out of rejection. It will close because seasons transition. If you move with it, you rise. If you resist it, you remain. You were not preserved through past battles to remain where you began. You were preserved to advance. The compression you feel is not pressure to panic. It is pressure to decide. Archangel Michael remains near. The path is illuminated enough for the next step. Courage is accessible. Strength is present. The only missing element is your yes. Steadfast heart. Now you must understand why this window could never remain open forever. It is not because heaven is impatient. It is because destiny moves in coordination with many lives, not just yours. Your obedience is a piece of a larger design. When God prepares something for you, it is woven into a greater pattern. Your step unlocks another person's step. Your movement triggers another person's breakthrough. Your alignment creates space for someone else's restoration. And when one piece delays too long, the pattern adjusts. Archangel Michael has been stationed around your life because what you are connected to is bigger than your personal comfort. There are intersections ahead of you, rooms you have not entered yet, conversations that will shift directions, people who will cross your path at exactly the right moment. But those intersections depend on timing. Imagine a door that is synchronized with other doors. When one opens, several align. But if one remains closed too long, the others must move forward without it. That is why this moment carries urgency. It is not pressure rooted in fear. It is precision rooted in purpose. You have felt a stirring that tells you this is different from other seasons. Previous opportunities felt optional. This one feels defining. Previous nudges felt flexible. This one feels firm. That difference is intentional. Archangel Michael's presence confirms that this is not a casual decision. It is a defining one. There is also something you must confront honestly. Comfort has quietly become your hiding place. Not sinful comfort. Not destructive comfort. Just predictable comfort. You know how to function where you are. You know how to manage expectations there. You know how to survive there. But survival is not the same as fulfillment. The window prepared for you contains expansion that will stretch your capabilities. It will require new disciplines. It will expose you to new responsibilities. It may even challenge the way you see yourself. And deep inside, part of you fears being seen at a higher level, because higher levels invite greater accountability. Yet accountability is not a threat. It is proof that you are capable of more. Archangel Michael stands near transitions that require courage because courage unlocks impact. Impact is what your life was always meant to carry. Not noise, not comparison, not competition. Impact. Look back at the subtle confirmations you have received. A conversation that hinted at change. An unexpected idea that would not leave your mind. A recurring theme in your prayers. A growing dissatisfaction with settling. These are not coincidences. They are signals. Signals that the window is not hypothetical. It is real. And it is responsive. Every time you lean toward obedience, you feel peace. Every time you lean toward delay, you feel tension. That inner contrast is guidance. Peace does not always mean ease. Sometimes peace accompanies bold moves. Tension does not always mean danger. Sometimes tension signals ignition. The longer you stand still at the threshold, the heavier the tension becomes. Not because you are being condemned, but because you are being invited. Heaven does not want you trapped in indecision. Indecision drains energy. It clouds clarity. It prolongs discomfort. A clear decision, even if challenging, restores momentum. Archangel Michael's assignment around you is also protective in another way. It guards you from stepping into the wrong door out of impatience. There are doors that look similar to the one prepared for you. They offer quick validation, quick comfort, quick recognition, but they lack the depth of divine design. The true window will require faith, but it will carry alignment. It will require effort, but it will produce fruit. It will require courage, but it will sustain peace. Do not mistake temporary relief for long-term destiny. There is a final truth you must grasp before the next revelation unfolds. The closing of this window is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to wake you fully. When something is time-sensitive, it deserves attention. It deserves intention. It deserves priority. You cannot treat this like every other passing thought. This is your defining moment. Picture yourself years from now looking back at this exact season. Will you say, "I sensed it and I moved in," or will you say, "I hesitated and it passed"? A future memory is being written now. Archangel Michael remains positioned as confirmation that heaven has not abandoned you. On the contrary, heaven has invested heavily in your advancement. But investment expects response. You are not lacking strength. You are not lacking wisdom. You are not lacking support. You are standing at the edge of obedience. And obedience will shift everything. What you are about to hear next will reveal the deeper spiritual mechanics behind this window and why ignoring it would echo far beyond this single season. Called and chosen one, now you are ready to understand the deeper spiritual mechanics behind this window. What stands before you is not merely an opportunity in the physical world. It is a convergence point between heaven's preparation and your earthly obedience. When those two meet, acceleration happens. This is why the call feels weighty. In the unseen realm, there are appointed times, moments marked long before you were aware of them. These moments are like gates aligned with divine calendars. When you step through at the appointed time, grace multiplies your effort. But when you delay beyond the appointed time, you may still move forward, yet without the same momentum. Archangel Michael's presence signals that this is an appointed time, not a random opening, not a casual chance, an appointed gate. You have noticed how certain events in your life seem to be aligning recently. Small confirmations appearing in unexpected ways, repeated themes emerging through different voices, a sense that the same message is circling you from multiple directions. This is not imagination. This is convergence. Convergence means heaven is coordinating details. But coordination requires cooperation. The reason ignoring this window would carry lasting impact is because timing influences trajectory. A single decision in a narrow season can redirect years ahead. Just as one courageous yes can unlock expansion, one prolonged hesitation can lead to extended detours. Detours are not punishment. They are alternate routes. But alternate routes often require more time, more energy, and more lessons that could have been avoided. Heaven prepared a streamlined path for you in this season. That is what this window represents. It is not about escaping hardship entirely. It is about entering a path where hardship refines rather than delays. Archangel Michael stands guard not only to protect you from external resistance, but also to strengthen you against internal sabotage. Self-doubt has been your quiet opponent. It disguises itself as humility. It whispers that you are not yet sufficient. It suggests that someone else is more qualified. But qualification in heaven's eyes is rooted in obedience, not comparison. There is also a spiritual law at work here. When revelation is given, responsibility follows. And now that you are aware of this window, neutrality is no longer possible. You cannot unknow what you know. You cannot unfeel what you have felt. Awareness demands response. This is why the call is final. Not because love is ending, but because revelation has reached completion. Archangel Michael's assignment confirms that what you are stepping into will require resilience. There will be moments where you question yourself again. There will be days where growth feels uncomfortable. But the difference will be this: you will be inside the window, not outside it. Inside, there is grace for growth. Outside, there is regret for delay. You must also recognize that fear magnifies the cost of action while minimizing the cost of inaction. It shows you worst-case scenarios of stepping forward but hides the quiet erosion of staying still. Staying still slowly drains vision. It slowly reduces expectation. It slowly convinces you that ordinary is enough. But you were not designed for ordinary. There is influence tied to your obedience. There is breakthrough attached to your movement. There are conversations waiting that will affirm your courage once you step. The gate is aligned now. The grace is active now. The protection is present now. But windows operate within seasons. Seasons transition. Feel the seriousness of that truth without fear. Let it sharpen you, not scare you. Let it awaken urgency without anxiety. This is the moment where you decide that your future will not be shaped by hesitation. This is the moment where you align your will with heaven's preparation. This is the moment where you say internally, I will not allow doubt to outlast destiny. Type I align with heaven's timing in the comments if you receive this message fully. Blessing code 8624 is now released over your next season. As you declare alignment, understand this sacred principle. When you sow into the ground that feeds your spirit, you participate in the harvest of other souls. The Lord declares, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy, and today your seed can become light in someone else's darkness. I sense many of you saying, I want to be part of spreading this awakening. Then act on that conviction. Through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, Release your seed as a prophetic response to this appointed time. This is not about supporting a platform. It is about fueling a river of truth that reaches those standing at their own gates. As you give, may oil overflow in your house and may doors open in places you have not yet imagined. Step forward and sow now as an act of obedience. Resolute spirit, you are now standing at the edge of understanding. Everything that has been spoken is converging into one clear truth. This window is not about chance. It is about covenant. It is about an agreement between heaven's preparation and your willingness to step forward. Covenants are not casual. They are binding. They are sacred exchanges. Heaven prepared a path, but you must bring obedience. Heaven arranged protection, but you must bring courage. Heaven released timing, but you must bring decision. Archangel Michael has not been mentioned throughout this message as a symbol. His assignment reflects the seriousness of this covenant moment. When divine protection is stationed around a transition, it means the transition carries weight beyond your imagination. You may have sensed subtle shifts recently. Certain relationships feeling distant. Certain habits losing their grip. Certain ambitions losing their shine. That is because your spirit recognizes that you cannot carry everything into this new dimension. Covenant seasons refine your focus. Refinement can feel uncomfortable. It strips away distractions. It exposes excuses. It confronts complacency. But it also reveals clarity. You are beginning to see what truly matters and what merely filled space. The window is not closing because you are unworthy. It will close because the assignment tied to this moment requires momentum. Momentum cannot be sustained in hesitation. It thrives in commitment. Look at how far you have already come. There were seasons when you prayed simply to survive. There were days when you asked only for relief. Yet now you are being invited into advancement. That progression alone proves growth has already occurred within you. Growth prepares you for covenant. Archangel Michael's presence reminds you that unseen resistance has already been addressed. The path ahead is not without challenge, but it is cleared of obstacles that once would have overwhelmed you. You are stronger now, more aware, more anchored. Still, there is a final barrier that must fall. It is the illusion that waiting will somehow produce greater certainty. Waiting does not always increase clarity. Sometimes it only increases comfort with delay. Certainty comes through movement. When you step, you learn. When you act, you refine. When you obey, you understand. Insight often follows obedience, not the other way around. There is also a generational dimension to this moment. Some of the hesitation you feel is inherited. Patterns of playing small. Patterns of fearing visibility. Patterns of settling for less than what was possible. But you were the one chosen to interrupt that pattern. Interruptions require boldness. The window before you is not only about personal success. It is about rewriting what is normal in your lineage. It is about demonstrating that faith can overcome inherited limitation. It is about proving that divine timing can break long-standing cycles. Archangel Michael stands near because breaking cycles attracts opposition. But it also releases legacy. Imagine years from now telling your story. You will not speak about how comfortable you remained. You will speak about the moment you decided to rise. That story begins now. Feel the urgency without fear. Let it energize you. Let it sharpen your senses. Let it push you out of analysis and into action. The window remains open, but it is narrowing. There is grace available right now that will not always feel this accessible. There is alignment right now that will not always feel this clear. There is courage rising within you that must be used while it burns bright. Do not smother it with delay. Archangel Michael's assignment confirms that you are not alone in this crossing. But he will not step for you. Protection surrounds you, but participation belongs to you. The final revelation that approaches will bring everything into focus. It will show you why this truly is a final call and what happens when a window closes with or without your response. Prepare your heart. Solidify your decision. Silence the lingering doubt. The gate is before you. The covenant awaits your agreement. And destiny is watching your next move. Brave soul, this is where everything becomes unmistakably clear. The reason this message carries the weight of a final call is because you are approaching the edge of transition. Once you cross it, your life will not return to its previous rhythm. And if you refuse to cross it, life will still move forward, but without the dimension that was prepared specifically for you. That is the reality of divine windows. They do not pause history. They move with it. Archangel Michael has stood guard over this entire process because what lies beyond this threshold carries influence. Influence changes environments. Influence shifts conversations. Influence challenges norms. And influence requires maturity. You have matured more than you realize. Think back to who you were 3 years ago. The insecurities that once dominated you no longer have the same authority. The fears that once silenced you no longer control your decisions the way they used to. The confusion that once clouded your direction has thinned. That transformation did not happen randomly. It was cultivation. Heaven cultivated resilience in you so that when this window opened, you would not collapse under its responsibility. The stretching seasons were not delays. They were training grounds. The closed doors of the past were not rejections. They were redirections to this appointed hour. Now the appointed hour is here. But here is the final test. Will you trust what has been built inside you? Archangel Michael's presence signals that the battle at this stage is internal more than external. External barriers have already been weakened. Opportunities have been positioned. Favor has been arranged. The remaining obstacle is your agreement with your own calling. Agreement is powerful. When you internally agree with heaven's declaration over your life, momentum accelerates. When you internally argue with it, stagnation prolongs. You have been standing at this hedge long enough. Reflection has served its purpose. Discernment has done its work. Awareness has been granted. Now action must follow. There will always be reasons to postpone. You could tell yourself that next month is better. That after one more conversation you will feel ready. That after one more sign you will be certain. But understand this, excessive signs are often requested by those who are afraid to move. You already have enough confirmation. Archangel Michael has not surrounded you for indecision. He has surrounded you for advancement. Advancement requires risk, but it also releases reward. And reward in this season is not just material. It is spiritual alignment, emotional clarity, renewed purpose. When you step through this window, something within you will stabilize. The restlessness will transform into resolve. The uncertainty will transform into direction. Attention will transform into momentum. That is what obedience does. But if you continue to hesitate, the window will not remain suspended indefinitely. Seasons shift. Opportunities transfer. Alignments adjust. Life will still offer growth, but not this precise configuration of grace. You were meant to encounter this configuration. Right now, take a deep internal inventory. What exactly are you afraid of losing? Comfort? Familiar approval? Predictability? Now ask yourself what you stand to gain. Expansion, clarity, impact, legacy. The comparison is not equal. Archangel Michael stands as a reminder that courage is supported from heaven's side. You are not stepping alone. Reinforcement accompanies obedience. Strength multiplies when you move. If this message has been speaking directly into your spirit, do not treat it lightly. Like this video as a sign of your agreement. Share it with someone who may also be wrestling with hesitation. Comment your declaration boldly so your words align with your intention. Subscribe and stay connected to this channel because what is unfolding here is not random content. It is confirmation for those ready to advance. When you engage, you participate in spreading light to others who are standing at their own thresholds. And hear this clearly. What is about to be revealed next will remove every remaining excuse. It will show you what truly happens when a divine window closes and why ignoring it would echo longer than you imagine. You will want to stay attentive for what comes next, because it will settle the question once and for all. The threshold is before you. The protection remains active. The timing is precise. The only decision left is yours. Awakened one, now you must see what truly happens when a divine window closes. It does not close with thunder. It does not close with visible signs in the sky. It closes quietly, almost gently, as heaven shifts focus to the next appointed sequence. Life continues. Opportunities still appear. Days still move forward. But something subtle changes. The specific grace attached to that former moment is no longer active. The alignment that once made things flow with unusual ease begins to feel heavier. Effort increases where favor once carried you. This is not punishment. It is transition. But transition without participation leaves residue. A quiet awareness that you once stood at a threshold and chose comfort over courage. That awareness lingers. It revisits you in silent moments. It surfaces when you see others walking boldly into spaces you once imagined for yourself. That is the echo of a closed window. Archangel Michael has been sent not to threaten you with loss, but to prevent regret from shaping your future. Regret is not loud at first. It begins as a small question. What if I had moved? Over time, that question can grow into a narrative. A belief that you missed your highest possibility. You were not created to live inside that narrative. The reason this call had been so direct is because heaven prefers bold obedience over prolonged contemplation. You have contemplated enough. You have weighed the options. You have examined the risks. You have replayed scenarios in your mind. Reflection has served its purpose. Now courage must lead. There is something sacred about decisive obedience. When you decide fully, energy shifts. Confusion dissipates. Anxiety loses its grip. Even if the path ahead contains unknowns, your spirit settles because you have aligned with truth. Archangel Michael's presence confirms that the moment of decision is supported from beyond what you see. Protection increases when alignment occurs. Clarity sharpens when agreement is made. Provision flows when participation begins. You are closer to breakthrough than you realize. The tension you have felt is not meant to paralyze you. It is meant to propel you. Like a drawn bowstring, the pressure exists to release you forward. But if you refuse to let go, the tension only strains you without purpose. Release requires trust. Trust that what has been prepared is better than what you are leaving. Trust that what lies ahead is not random but intentional. Trust that the strength within you is sufficient for the responsibility attached to the next season. You may wonder why this message insists that the window will not remain open forever. It is because seasons are interconnected. Your obedience affects timelines beyond your own. Delayed action can postpone alignments meant for others. And heaven, and its wisdom will continue moving history forward. You are invited to move with it. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to this invitation. His role in this narrative has been to emphasize the seriousness of timing and the availability of courage. But he will not override your will. Divine protection does not eliminate human choice. Choice is your sacred authority. Right now, the decision is simpler than you have made it. It is not about having every answer. It is about choosing movement over stagnation. It is about choosing faith over fear. It is about choosing growth over comfort. The echo of a closed window is something you never need to experience, because the window is still open. Feel that truth. It is still open, but it is narrowing. In the next and final revelation, everything will converge into one decisive invitation. No more layers, no more explanations. Just a clear and final call to step fully into what heaven prepared for you. Prepare your heart. Solidify your resolve. Silence the last fragments of doubt. The gate remains before you. The timing remains precise. And the final call is about to be spoken plainly. Chosen vessel, this is the final call spoken plainly. The window is open right now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow. Now, everything that hath been revealed to you has led to this single point of decision. Heaven has prepared. Protection hath been positioned. Timing has aligned. Confirmation hath been repeated. The stirring in your spirit has intensified. There is nothing left to analyze. Only something left to choose. If you step through this window, your life will shift into a dimension that matches the prayers you once cried in secret. The doors ahead will not always be easy, but they will be aligned. The challenges will not always be light, but they will be purposeful. The growth will not always be comfortable, but it will be transformative. And Archangel Michael will not depart when you step forward. His assignment does not end at the threshold. It strengthens beyond it. Protection accompanies obedience. Reinforcement follows surrender. Courage multiplies when exercised. But if you ignore this call, the window will close quietly. Not in anger, not in rejection, simply in completion. Heaven will move forward. Seasons will rotate. Other doors will appear in your lifetime. But this specific configuration of grace, this precise alignment of preparation and timing, will not return in the same way. And one day, in a quiet moment, you will remember that you once felt the urgency. You once sensed the invitation. You once knew you were standing at a gate designed uniquely for you. You were never meant to live with that memory as regret. You were meant to live with it as testimony. This is why the call has been direct. This is why Archangel Michael has been central in this message. Because what stands before you carries weight in the spiritual realm. Your obedience echoes beyond your understanding. Your courage influences more than your own path. There are people waiting for the version of you that exists beyond this window. They do not know it yet. But your future obedience will unlock their breakthrough. Your decision will inspire unseen observers. Your alignment will ripple through conversations you have not yet entered. You are not stepping forward alone. Heaven stands with you. Protection surrounds you. Strength rises within you. The final barrier is hesitation. Release it now. Do not promise yourself that you will act later. Later is the language of delay. Now is the language of destiny. Close your eyes for a brief moment and see yourself walking through that window. Feel the fear dissolve into focus. Feel the uncertainty transform into resolve. Feel the weight of waiting lift from your shoulders. That image is not imagination. It is invitation. Archangel Michael stands as witness to your decision. Not forcing, not pressuring, simply guarding the sacredness of this hour. This is your defining moment. This is your covenant response. This is your step into what heaven prepared long before you understood its value. Type "I enter what heaven prepared" in the comments if you are choosing obedience over hesitation. Blessing code 9901 is now activated over your next chapter. And hear this clearly as you step forward. The Lord declares, "I set before you an open door that no one can shut." This message is part of that open door. When you sow into this mission, you become a co-laborer in opening doors for countless others standing at their own thresholds. I sense many of you saying, "I want to help carry this light." Then let your action match that desire. Through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, release your seed as a prophetic act of obedience. This is not a donation. It is sowing into a harvest of souls who are about to miss their moment. As you give, may rivers of provision flow back into your life. May oil of favor rest upon your household, and may open heavens respond to your faith. Act now and seal this moment with generosity. The window is before you. Step through it.